remember, guys, this is super important. There's 77 million people that voted for Trump, right? If you treat them all the same, you will not be able to win elections. Why is winning elections important? Because that is how you take power away from Trump, away from the Republicans. So if you treat all 77 million as hardcore MAGA, you're going to push them away and they're going to vote against you. You can say, oh, no, but it makes me feel better. I have emotional release and my audience likes me more because I seem like I'm tougher on Trump.
What is he talking about? Well, he's suggesting that you're the grifter if you criticize Republicans for doing the things that they believe in. Like, that makes you the grifter. You're just looking for, like, easy views and votes if you say things that are true and that you believe in.
Trump! I was so mean to him. Yeah, but did that persuade anybody? I called all of his voters fascists. Yes, but did that persuade anyone? You're trying to persuade the people in the middle.
Isn't the idea that they can't be moved at all a Democrat official belief? So this is complicated. The problem is that the version of this dynamic that Cenk is describing is made up. It is a fake political strategy constructed by right-wingers to make you be nicer to them while they fuck your, like, dog to death in front of you. You know, what Cenk might be doing here. I don't know. I can't see. The camera cuts off at the nips. But I don't have a dog, so I guess I'm safe. The problem with this is it's the idea that there is a populist mass of people on the right within the Republican Party who are willing to band together to stand up against Trump on principled issues. The problem is that this group of people do not exist. That group is immaterial. You can't be on the right and be pro-Trump and be populist. You might be susceptible to populist rhetoric, but you don't actually have any populist, like, political instincts. If you did, why? Well, why this? But everyone is susceptible to populist rhetoric, right? So, like, that doesn't necessarily mean you're a populist. Now, Trump can lose approval with people, but those people have to be reached out to from the left, bringing them to the left. You can't work with people on the right against Trump because definitionally, if they're on the right, they won't work with you against Trump. If you're on the right, you're pro-Trump. There isn't internal division within the Republicans. If a person meaningfully disagrees with Trump to the extent that they have a real moral objection to what Trump is doing, they won't be on the right anymore. That's where the line is. It's not like the Democrats, where you can be on the left but have, like, meaningful disagreements with any left figure, AOC, Bernie, or you can be a Democrat but have disagreements with Biden or Obama that are significant enough that they manifest as political opposition. That is not the case with the GOP right now. So if there are people who get disillusioned with Trump because Trump wants to, you know, destroy the country, destroy Social Security, destroy Medicaid, destroy Medicare, destroy everything, you know, sure, they need to move from the right and they can join the left. And if not, what is there to talk about? What about never Trump Republicans? What about them? This fantasy group of people that people like Chuck Schumer, like, obsess over? This, like, big, noble, savage horde of Republicans who didn't vote for Trump? I saw what happened last election. They voted for Trump. Yeah, you're chasing unicorns, you know? Screw them, virtue signaling. I guess I just don't understand the implication. Let's say that you oppose Donald Trump cutting Medicaid. You know, like, you don't like the cutting Medicaid part of Trump's one big beautiful bill. And there are some Republicans saying, hey, we don't like that you're cutting Medicaid. As a left-leaning person, what are you supposed to do? My approach to that would be to go, oh, you shouldn't have voted for the guy who voted to cut Medicaid then. Maybe you should leave the political party that's 100% on board with cutting Medicaid. You know, the party where basically every Republican in Congress and the Senate and on Fox News and Daily Wire and every power center they have is supporting the one big beautiful bill, including the president that you voted for. Maybe you should leave that party that is completely and totally in favor of cutting Medicaid and vote next time for a party that isn't that. Am I wrong? What else can I do? Cenk instead says Republicans can be worked with. They just can't. They operate as a block with basically no internal division. If you break with them in any meaningful, principled way, you're just not a part of the block anymore. The closest they have is, like, Thomas Massie, I guess, and Thomas Massie is as close as we're going to get to, like, principled opposition from within the Republican Party from, like, a libertarian perspective, but doesn't really represent a significant portion of the electorate. If a person has principles, they wouldn't support Trump to begin with. Yeah, Cenk's stance is ridiculous. It's not even a real stance. The point is to always chide and tone police people on the left for not being nice enough to fascists. That's the point of it. There's not a real political strategy being advocated for. There's not a real, like, outreach effort, or here's, like, the specific thing that you can push for, the specific candidate that you can vote for. It's just, in some abstract way, you are too upset with the people who voted to destroy your country and kill you personally. Your opposition to their behavior is what's actually dooming the country. In reality, the people who voted for all of the bad things that are happening, those people are more progress-oriented than you, because you have a problem with all the bad things that they want, as opposed to them who have a problem with only one of the bad things that the party has done that they don't like. It's nonsense. Anyway, I'm rambling.
To come to your side. So what are the issues where we've got a fighter's chance? War. Okay, so now, do I think that on day one, they were all going to flip and then act and be successful in stopping all of the establishment, all the neocons? And by the way, were we successful? We were not successful in stopping any of them during Biden or any other Democratic administration either, right? So now there's a giant full-blown revolt.
But within the Democrats, there were so many people who were so opposed to what was being done in Israel and Gaza that it was an actual thorn in the side of the Democrats. Trump dropped bombs in Iran, and instantly every Republican was like, yes, sir, we love war in the Middle East, sir. Regime change, sir. He literally advocated for regime change, and Republicans were salivating at the idea. Like, it took no time at all. There's no principle here. There are no principles here.
I'm out on a limb, and I get it. If you grant them an inch, people will say, okay, that's it. You love them and you're a Trump supporter, et cetera. But I'm doing it anyway because I'm being honest. I think 75% of them are unreachable, but 25% of them at a minimum actually will listen to you, have their own audience pushing them to be anti-war. They're not with us on all issues. They're not with us on most issues. But on war, I think that a significant chunk of them are with us. Okay, so
the honest truth is that for a lot of people, their political positions are only relevant insofar as they affect elections, and fascists will vote for Trump because they like fascism, even if they dislike the whole war in the Middle East thing. Like, even if you found a fascist who was willing to break over that issue, at the end of the day, it would be between somebody they agree with 90% and somebody they don't agree with at all. And they would shrug and go, well, I guess war in Iran is worth not having, like, blacks around or whatever. And they would cast the same vote. That's why, like, this this gay, incremental, liberal approach to reaching people, this, like, well, if we can work together on one issue, like, Cenk is acting like he's this revolutionary centrist for having the same attitude towards convincing Republicans that Chuck Schumer infamously talked about before he went on to go and lose the 2024 presidential. Well, his party did, you know. Like, it's like, yeah, I have a brave strategy. What if we did the Lincoln Project again? Very good, Cenk. Very good. You're very anti-establishment. No, you have to attack the ideology at its heart. People who move far enough from the right that they're not going to vote for Trump anymore aren't going to do so because one little NIMBY little element of their ideology has been challenged. The whole point of fascism is that it's idiosyncratic. It borrows from a bunch of different ideas and aesthetics. People change their minds all the time. Fascists don't believe any consistent set of things. That's why they're difficult to argue with. They don't believe in words or reality. They're irrational. They're intentionally irrational. They'll pretend to get really, really, really worked up about the idea of America cucking itself to the establishment by going to war in the Middle East again. And then once you go to war in the Middle East, they'll be like, yeah, American power, buddy. Look at my fucking B-2 stealth bomber fan cam. Look at all these brown people getting bombed. Yeah. Anti-Semites on the right will talk about how they hate being cucked to Israel, but then when Israel and America do something military against Muslims, they'll be like, yeah, fucking burn them all, you know? They don't believe in shit, for real. You can't just win over them on like wedge issues. You have to bring them over in their totality, which means unified front.